Hello, Rebel, and more specifically, Rebel Gman Division 10F. I am your captain speaking, Full Metal COS. I kind of run the show, you may have seen me around. Welcome to Season 10 of Rebel. Your entirely fresh team, so we're going a little bit different flavour from the last recap we just published, where we kind of thought you maybe knew exactly what Rebel's about. We'll take it a bit slower for you gentlemen for the first week. But anyway, I'm Full Metal. I'm joined by my co-host for the evening, Mr. McNaughton.
Hello there, Division 10F.
Yeah, and welcome to Rebel. Many for the first time, I feel. But we'll jump right in. What we're going to do this recap, we can't really talk about skills or anything because you don't have any, but we're going to talk about builds real quick. We're going to take a look at what you've picked up, and we're going to kind of talk about what we expect to see from the division in terms of who we think are going to, the ones to watch and stuff. If we do not list you as a one to watch, that doesn't mean I hate you. It just means he hates you.
It means to get to prove you wrong. That's what I'd say.
Exactly. It's
prove metal wrong.
It's a challenge, right? But
Yes.
we're going to jump straight in. Tabard Tellers from JP Casey. It's a Dark Elf team. And it's a Dark Elf team that's picked up the Witch 3 Blitzer start.
This is the riskier start, I would say. Having played a lot of Dark Elves myself, there is generally two standard go-to builds. So there is this build here, with the Witch Elf and 3 Blitzers, or there is the alternative one, which is the 4 Blitzer and Runner build.
Now, I personally like the 4 Blitzer and Runner build, and I'll tell you why. Is because I like to rush leader on the Runner.
Yes.
Because that covers the third reroll and allows you to spend all your money on an Apothecary, an extra Witch. But I do know that a lot of folks like to go for the early Witch because of the surfing threats, and it does change the way the team plays quite dramatically, even though it's only one single positional shift.
It does. It's a far more aggressive set. Obviously, having the Witch there, you do look to take full advantage of it nice and early. But it's definitely a build I'm going to enjoy seeing how it develops. Obviously, you hope nothing bad happens. But will be a risk that JP Casey's probably factored into it. And fair dues to him for going Billy Big Bollocks nice and early in the season.
I like it. I do like it. I'm very excited to see what it does. If obviously with this kind of a setup, you tend to push a lot of early development onto the Witch. You're looking for like a Mighty Blow. Maybe if you want to get really saucy, you're looking for a Juggernaut, which I personally love. But there's not a lot of coaches that go that way, and I'm excited to see the direction he goes because he's playing the aggressive build. How aggressive is his levels going to take him?
Definitely. Now, just to point out, his team motto does say, telling tales of magnificent fails. Now, I just hope taking the Witch and the 3 Blitzers isn't going to be the first fail.
I hope we're not going to see too much failure. But we're going to move on. We've got Rarimbo's Orcs, coached by, you might be surprised to learn, Rarimbo.
Rarimbo indeed.
Once again, if I mispronounce, murder, or otherwise mess up your names, I'm genuinely sorry. Reading comprehension, not my best talent.
If we do, just drop a wee message onto the comment section. We'll be able to sort that out.
Yeah, we've got Rusev Udrea Rusev Machka. Is that Russian? I believe it's Russian.
Rusev. I'm not fluent in Russian, despite the dodgy accent you may hear.
Oh, really? A Scottish man can't speak Russian? I am shocked.
I know. But looking at the build itself, very standard Orc build here.
This is
solid, reliable.
This is literally Orc 101, right? This is the I got 4 Black Orcs, I got 4 Blitzers, toss the Thrower in there, and a couple of linemen. The other choice, obviously, drop the Thrower, 3 linemen, 20k more in the bank for an earlier Rapport. It's almost guaranteed after the first game at that point.
I do think, having consideration these are fresh divisions, you can probably rely on Armour 9 holding up.
Yes.
So the Apple itself shouldn't be a necessary requirement. Hopefully it does get it game 1. I'm sure that's what the Rora Rimbo will be looking for. It's a nice early Apple, but a very solid Orc team. It'd be good to see how they develop and how quickly they can start getting some extra block on the Black Orcs.
I just like Orcs, man. Orcs are good. They're a good, solid team.
They're a team you never want to face, is the way I see it.
Especially early. Orcs early are very difficult to handle because they're just so strong, so tough, so reliable because obviously they have got sure hands where they need it. They've got 4 guys with block. it's just a nice team to see. So, we'll be looking at him to see where he develops and how quickly he develops this team.
Definitely. And I'm sure that art team will be looking about the division as well, thinking, they can do some damage as well. So I'm sure they will be expecting good results.
Now, we're going to move on to Bernie Buffon's Contract Killers, and we've got a bit of a celebrity in our midst. Because if you don't know Bernie Buffon, he does a lot of streaming already. So you'll be seeing some of this division's games will be up on the old Twitch via Bernie, I'm sure. He also organised the cross-platform cup. If you caught any of that, where Andy Davo gloriously lost to every console coach he played.
Now, Metal, didn't you beat every console coach that you played?
No, I went 1-1 because my second match was a lizard mirror, and lizard mirrors are basically toss dice up in the air and see who comes out on top, and it wasn't me.
It was good. Bernie, of course, as well made the Cyanide Blood Bowl World Cup playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a coach here with some pedigree coming into the Rebel. If I think I'm right in saying that this will be his first season with us.
It is. I actually chatted to him off the back of the cross-platform cup and told him about Rebel and went, get involved. And he was like, well, it sounds really super interesting. Let's get involved. So it's entirely my fault he's here. So if he does well, I'm very sorry, 10F.
Yes, you know entirely who to blame. That's Full Metal Cause when you're tagging him in Discord for all the abuse. Not McNugget for.
But yeah, he's gone for an Apo to start.
That is the Chorf build. So 2 Chorf builds again. Some coaches take the third reroll to start with and only 5 Chorf blockers. I much prefer this start, which is the standard 6 Chorf blocker, 2 Bull, 3 Hobgoblins, and you get 2 rerolls and an apple for your money.
I would argue the other choice, there is one alternative choice, which is a bit more scary, but you drop the apple and take a bench with an extra Hobgoblin. Yeah. And that might not sound like a lot of value, but suddenly you've got a fouling game.
That is true. It's also reliability. The Chorfs like to fall back a lot in the reliability. Obviously, only having 2 rerolls at the start when you've got 2 Bull Centaurs there can be a bit scary. If you need to use one up nice and early, it can allow a lot of pressure to be put on you as a Chorf coach. But I expect Bernie's experience to carry him through that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. He actually did play in the Greenhorn and decided he wasn't feeling the team and re-rolled. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that was... it's a bold move, let's say, and it'll be interesting to see if it paid off.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Next up, we have the Rebel Vikings, coached by Hargrim.
I've got to say, Rebel Vikings, it's a Norse... No, it's actually Wood Elves.
It's Wood Elves, yeah. It's a Wood Elf team, so Metal, you are a more experienced Wood Elf coach than me, but this build looks quite a risky one.
It's kind of a weird one, right? I know why he's called himself the Rebel Vikings, because he's instantly named himself after the show Vikings. Yes. So we've got Ragnar Lothbrok in there, Floki, who is the best character in the entire show, a bunch of other characters that we care about less. No, but trust me, Floki's the best character, so watch that War Dancer, right? But There's a bunch of ways you can play Wood Elves. There's the one reroll there's the all positional kind of Inarian play where you go like, War Dancer's tree, everything in there, tons of catches, no rerolls, and pray. One reroll is a bit scarier, but it gives you an apothecary to start with, which means that if you do take a Kaz on a War Dancer, and there is a Chorf team in the division, so, War Dancer's feeling a little bit vulnerable. Mm-hmm. If something goes wrong, you've only got one reroll to fall back on. But
there is also the thrower that's in there at the bottom, so that looks to me like that's going to be an early rush for leader.
I would argue that he would possibly go for leader. No catches makes the actual... the vanity passing game a bit risky.
Yeah.
But especially with unreroll. But it is a bit of a bolder play. But I kind of with the Chaos Dwarf team, we'll look what else is in the division in a moment. But already having one Chaos Dwarf team, having a game 1 apothecary might be massive. It might make a huge difference. I mean, it might just roll dead into dead. But this will be one. I don't know anything about Hargrim. I'm sorry, Hargrim. But I'll be watching you simply because you're a one-year-old Wood Elf team and I do like Wood Elves.
Sounds a good enough reason as any. And the Vikings theme as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Vikings TV show, so yeah, instantly got me on side with that one. All right, right. The next one, actually, very much backing off his own coach in it. Martin Septim, being a character from Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and calling it the Angry Altma, which is also an Oblivion reference. So, yeah, believe it or not.
I would not have got that reference myself. Now, this is obviously the first high elf team that we're going to have a look at here. The 2 Blitzer, 1 Catcher build it is one of the most secure ones. The third reroll.
Tell me about the North Thrower.
Now, a lot of coaches don't like the thrower at the start for the lack of movement to cost ratio. I don't know if I like the third reroll no apple part because, as you said, there's Chorse, there's Chorse and Orcs, and if you lose that catcher early, or you lose one of those blitzers early, it's a long way back up.
Now, he does have, obviously, he hasn't played a game yet, so he has the option to drop a reroll, pick up an apothecary, should he so choose. I'm not telling him what to do. I have every confidence that he has a plan going in, but I'm just putting it out there that there is always a chance that he chooses to drop the reroll and get an apple or not. We'll see.
High Elves are definitely a team that need to take advantage of the Vanity Pass factor of the game.
Yes. I'm expecting some man at the asses coming out of this one.
A manatee ass, to steal the term from Chubstep, yes. Andy Davo, a very well-known high elf coach in OCC, I think he averaged about 11 passes a game one season.
Wow.
Mainly because that's the way that high elf teams get their SPP. It's, you know what I mean?
Well, you're an elf. It's a 2+2+2+. Pick it up, chuck it, catch it, SPP.
And you have catcher with built-in catch. You can have a thrower with built-in pass. They can become a lot more secure. So definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how this team goes on. Also, you want to see those catchers level up nice and quick. Get them dodge, block. Movement is huge on them. The blitzers, of course, trying to get blodge.
The one thing to talk about, though, High Elves, very slow development team, even with, they don't start with a lot of skills. So even with a lot of vanity passes coming in, I don't know if I'm expecting a ton out of these season 1. I'm kind of maybe more just expecting slow and steady, develop, come back for the next season to do better.
Yeah.
But he might surprise us. Because elves be elves, right?
Elves be elves. High Elves are one of those teams, like you said, they don't start with a lot of basic skills. You probably are looking after this season to perhaps your blitzers, a couple of levels on them, probably get a nice thrower and 2 or 3 catchers leveled up with a couple of utility linemen. But the way the games go, you can never tell. I mean, Martin Septim could just come in here and just level, and just run round teams. With that catcher and those blitzers, it's very easily done.
There's going to be at least one game, possibly 2, because obviously the Wood Elves he's probably going to enjoy a bit of a shootout with. But the next, how often is it you see 2 High Elf teams in the same fresh div?
It is indeed. Now, not only 2 high elf teams in the same div, 2 high elf teams built the same way.
We've actually got the Arrogant Bar Stewards. I'm being very careful because I don't like swearing on my Rebel content. I'm not afraid of swearing elsewhere, but when it's recorded, we'll avoid it as much as possible. We have Coach Rugbart, and he says Cristiano Ronaldo's got nothing on us. Oh my god, I'm not even looking. I look at the names and I'm gonna pass.
Are you sure about that, Mel? I mean, there's a few of them I'm sure you could take an attempt at.
No.
No.
Kind of, you always feel like pronouncing default high elf names is a lot. You sound like a guy having a stroke. It's never attractive.
No. And we're only halfway through this stream, so if you could avoid the stroke at this point, that would be appreciated.
Right, I can't say much more than we just said. We literally just did 2 high elf teams back to back. It's an identical build. It's got exactly the same points we're going to address the first one. Rugbar, it's nothing personal. You just happen to be second on the list. If you want some pointers, refer back about 2.5 minutes. Much love.
Also, Rugbar, if you want some personalisation, make sure you do better than the other high elf team, and Martin, make sure you do better than Rugbart. We will pick favourites. You are our children. We will pick one of the favourites, and that's whoever wins the most.
If you want Papa Metal to love you, go for really high-scoring games, okay?
Yes.
None of this 2-1 grind. Go for big scores, okay?
Big scores. Get those numbers up.
Don't go for rookie numbers. Go for big numbers. The one who has the most touchdowns every week will get more attention. I promise you.
It's true. It's true.
Right. Speaking of mirror builds, it looks like we've probably walked into another one here with only falls and hobgoblins.
I do like that. I do like that by the salmon. Again, as we said about Bernie's Chorf team, the two bull centaurs, 6 blockers, 3 hobes, 2 rerolls and an apple. It is one of the stronger builds. Chorf's very good and very strong off the TV 1000 to fresh division starts. So, unfortunately, again, Salmon, as we said about the high elves, you're going to have to outperform Bernie. We will pick our favourite children out of the two of you.
Now, this time, I won't be picking whoever scores the most. I'll be picking whoever kills the most. No, whoever kills the most. So, if you want my love, kill him. Kill him hard.
Kill them all.
Otherwise, I'm dead sorry, but you ain't getting a personalised thing because it's exactly the same as we said about Bernie.
Yes. Kill Bernie. That's the super way to do it. Just not personally. Don't go over to his house and kill him. Just kill his team. Okay.
Right.
Do us proud though.
We're going to jump into another strong team in the division. We've got an Undead team, directed by me, and it's starring me, and it's clearly right. I'm sorry. You know, like I said, you'd be my favourite sons, right? This you're always going to come second to a guy whose literal coach name is Tommy Wiseout.
Yeah.
I am not picking favourites. I am not picking favourites.
Metal, please tell Division 10F why you chose this division to recap.
I'm not gonna lie. I mostly picked this division to recap. No, not entirely because Tommy's here. Because I also know Bernie, and we're gonna get on to Crystal Hunter in a moment, who's here as well. But there's a lot of it being in this team, especially giving as it does have every player named from quotes from the movie. So I do apologise, 10F, but every single week you're going to be exposed to me quoting the room at you. There's always room for a good movie reference and a good pun.
It is indeed.
It is a fairly default undead build.
I was going to say yes. Going to the team build itself, not your love of Tommy.
You got two ways, right? He could have dropped a zombie and gone for an extra ghoul.
Yes.
For more speed. He could have dropped a zombie for a skeleton for a better fowler because it's a little bit faster. But it's fairly standard. I don't necessarily like the 3 ghoul start, simply because I feel like it's too many players to protect. And it's too many players that you spread SPP across.
Yeah, especially when you also want to get some SPP on the whites. You do want a bit of mobile. Tackle could be quite strong here, also with the elf teams.
There's a lot of elf teams.
There's a lot of elf teams. Also, getting that more mobile Mighty Blow can help as well. And also, probably want to get some early guard, just with the Chorfs and the orcs here. You don't want to get out-muscled as undead.
Well, it's quite hard to out-muscle undead because 2 strength 5 mummies are kind of a great equaliser in a lot of circumstances.
They are indeed. But no, overall, Undead do very well in these formats, especially in the first few seasons. They're a very strong Tier 1 team and definitely like to throw their weight and their filling potential about nice and early in games. So it will be interesting to see Tommy Wiseau and to see how much he brings that disastrous, murderous intent of his film into the Blood Bowl arena.
Is he a disaster artist on the pitch as well as off the pitch? That's the question you're asking.
That's different. And I would like to see him try and foul as much as possible with "Why Lisa? Why?" Mainly because I'd like to think of him shouting that at the player he's fouling as he's doing it.
I would also like You're Tearing Me Apart to get Mighty Blow really quick, so he literally tears them apart.
Tears them apart, yeah.
Right, we'll see how they do, but I'll be watching them. Now, There is a team, the next team, I feel like they're probably going to be swearing at me because there's 2 Chorf teams in this. And then we go on to Angeli's City Honey KOs, which is Doped Wizard, and they like it hard and rough, apparently, which actually might be good because there's 2 Chorf teams in the division.
We'll give them it hard and rough.
It's a pretty standard Amazon team. It's got a bench, it's got 4 blitzers, it's got a catcher, it's got a thrower, it's got an apple, it's got 3 rerolls, it's spent its entire 1k.
It's got everything it needs to perform. It just needs to
Apart from
hope
two
that it doesn't
Chorf teams.
yeah. It just needs to hope it doesn't face the Chorfs nice and early.
Well, you know what, right? Amazons can kind of answer back, because if they get Mighty Blow on a blitzer very early, you start removing Hobbs. It is a bit of a game changer getting the Chorfs down on numbers. And then the other blitzers, if they get into like guard quite quickly, if you can outguard the Chorfs because they're all going, ooh, let's get Mighty Blow like you, suddenly it can get quite difficult.
It does as well, and also having a block on the 4 blitzers does mean, although the Chorfs do have tackle, it is still more of that 1 in 3 chance to be hit down. Than the teams that won't. So obviously, a lot of teams that won't have tackle will be looking for the powers on the blitzers and stuff. But Amazons can rack up SPP quite quickly. Also, the dodge skill on every player does come in very handy.
They're not the fastest team in the universe, but they're quite manoeuvrable around the pitch.
They are a team I feel that lives and dies on their doubles and stats.
Yes.
So I'm sure Dope Blizzard will be hoping for a few of them.
Longevity, to me, is how much they stat up, really.
Yeah. Lots of guard is needed.
They're brutally efficient in the short term, but when they start getting to higher TVs, if you don't got those doubles on the line women to get like guard in there and stuff, if you don't got those stats in the right places, you start to feel the pinch a little bit.
But
I can't give you too much advice because I don't play Amazons. I'm so sorry.
No, neither do I. I'm more of the guy playing Chorfs glad when he sees Amazons kind of guy.
Ooh.
But no, definitely Dope Wizard's going to be a coach I'm going to follow up. I'd like to see him do well in this division, considering the Chorfs that he's got there. And I mean, 50k line women, don't be afraid to throw a foul or two.
This is the reason you're backing the dude, is because you're backing a fouling game, right?
I am. I'm seeing 50k fouling positionals.
Well, he's got 12 people as well, so far he's the only team with a bench.
Dope Wizard, I want to see some fouling, okay?
Right. The next team we're going to, it's another team that is good at fouling. It's actually 3 in a row. I know this is Noru. He played Mustang BBC previously, which was a Brett team that came back out of nowhere, played a couple of seasons, got utterly mauled, and has re-rolled to the Undead, to the Necro, and he's gone for, it's my less favoured build.
Agreed. Now, obviously, the season hasn't started, so his option of build is up for debate. Preference-wise, I do prefer the 2 werewolf start.
I personally prefer 2 werewolves dropping the ghoul, because the ghoul's a point of weakness on the team. But the one thing, it's choices. It's basically, do you want 3 rerolls, or do you want to play the 2 reroll start and develop both werewolves kind of on a level playing field? Because the ghoul tends to steal SPP from the wolves.
It does. It is also a discussion of, a lot of coaches will feel this is the more reliable build. So with the wolf not having block or any defensive skills off the start and frenzy, it can get itself into a bit of trouble. Same for the flesh golems. You only have block on your whites as a inbuilt reroller was, as it were, if you ignore the ghoul. So this build is slightly more conservative, but it does allow you to possibly locate SPP more where you want with that extra reroll.
Well, the way I look at this is, the ghoul tends to be the recovery of the ball, get it to the werewolf. The werewolf is literally the carrier and touchdown machine, and you're blitzing every turn with a white. You're going for maximum reliability, minimum risk.
Yes.
The one thing you maybe haven't picked up on, McNugget, that I've definitely spotted on this, is that this is a Cthulhu-themed team.
Again, no, that's something I'm not picking up on.
Yeah, from the stars, the old ones and all that. Yeah, it's I think it's a Cthulhu-themed team.
Well, I'm sure Noru will possibly drop us a wee comment. Let us know that you are right. Although it's
or it could be a Darkest Dungeon team.
Darkest Dungeon, because as we say, the Shambler, Swine King.
Actually, yeah, it could be
Darkest
both.
Dungeon.
It'd be interesting.
Let us know.
Let us know who's right.
Mainly because Metal got me into Darkest Dungeon by streaming it, and I've hated him since because Darkest Dungeon has stole so much of my life.
It's so good. It's such a good game.
It's so good.
Either way, if it's a Cthulhu reference, I'm super behind him. If it's a Darkest Dungeon reference, I'm still super behind him. So
yes,
yeah, go ahead. And he also played Brett previous season. So I mean,
he's at least learnt.
Right, and finally, this is the other celebrity I would say in the division, The
Yes,
Rat
he is
Rebel,
known a bit.
Crystal Hunter. You may have heard of Crystal Hunter if you play it on CCL, because he's literally the rat guy.
He is. He is a very good coach, and it's a tough-looking division for him. Couple of Chorf, Orc, couple of Elves, but I mean, Crystal Hunter's coming in with a lot of pedigree, a lot of experience.
But you know what he really likes, McNaughton? You know what Crystal Hunter really likes to do? Score tons of touchdowns, right? And he's got 2 High Elf teams, a Wood Elf team, an Amazon team who kind of won't want to play the bash game. Well, he won't want to play the bash game against them because they're a pain in the butt. So there's a very real chance we're going to see some big scoring games coming out of this division when these teams match up.
Definitely. Now, Metal, I will lean back on your Skaven knowledge here. 12 players, no thrower.
Yes, I hate... There's 2 players I particularly hate on the Skaven team. The Thrower and the Rat Ogre. The Rat Ogre, because in a league where you're looking for development, all it does is steal all your blitzers. So you don't blitz on Storm Vermin, you don't get as many incidental casualties, although mostly you probably want to be farming touchdowns on your Storm Vermin early to get that Mighty Blow, to get them started. But when they get Mighty Blow, you know, if you're looking at a Rat Ogre going, do I blitz with a Rat Ogre or do I blitz with a Storm Vermin with Mighty Blow? Right? Yeah. And, you know, the Rat Ogre is such a... Skaven thrive on being low TV, they thrive on reliability. You know, every player needs to be good at what it does. Right, and the Rat Ogre just isn't. It's a massive pain point of unreliability. So get him off. I'm glad Crystal Hunter hasn't gone that way. The other point being the Thrower adds a player you have to protect, because if you've got a thrower, you're probably using him for sure hands and pass and things like that. And he's not very good. Why are you opting to hold the ball and handle the ball on a Movement 7 Agi 3 player when you can have up to 4 Movement 9 Agi 4 players? I just don't like it.
True.
And also, it's an extra player you've got to protect. And, you know, if you want all 4, you know, when you eventually get 4 Gut Runners, 2 Storm Vermin, I mean, you only get a few linemen after that, you know what I mean? Because you've got 6 positionals already. Putting a 7th positional on the pitch, that only gives you 4 linemen. And Skaven linemen, you want a lot of, because they're really good at fouling.
Yes, the 12th man, definitely an option for that. Although I would say Crystal Hunter, he's going to be a man that he knows what he's doing with Skaven. He probably knows the builds he likes for leagues and different types of competition that he plays in. So it will be interesting to see just how he's going to play these rats and to see what sort of touchdown numbers he's going to get in for that SPP development.
Worthy of note, Crystal Hunter, as Bernie Buffon did as well, played in Greenhorn. Crystal Hunter, his team in Greenhorn exploded into a cloud of red furry mist.
So definitely a cautionary tale. I'm sure the rest of the division will be looking at that and saying, oh, we wouldn't mind that again.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind a repeat of that situation.
And I'm sure Crystal Hunter's sitting there saying, shut up, guys, shut up.
I think it was, he messaged me mid-game and went, my Storm Vermin just dead Apo deaded, or something similar. Or, you know, stat bust, Apo, stat bust. And he was like, and then 3 linemen died, and then a gut runner, and it was just like, he was just like, mate, I need to re-roll the team.
but hopefully the team lasts longer this time.
I'm expecting some big scores, and I'm going to poke him after this and get him to take his ticket, because he hasn't taken his ticket yet.
Definitely. Hunter, take your ticket.
But I would say this is another division I'm quite excited for, because there's a couple of big names, there's people I don't know, but there's a lot of potential for high-scoring games, a bit of potential for murder. This division could have it all, and it's also got a guy named after the room. So I mean, I'm winning winner chicken dinner across the board.
Yes.
Having said all of that, what teams are you picking so far that you're expecting to see coming to the top of the pile?
That I want to see some magic from. Crystal Hunter definitely is going to be one of them up there. Rats can either implode like what happened to him in Greenhorn, but I mean, if anyone's going to get a rat team to perform in this division, it will be Crystal Hunter. Another team up there, got to back Bernie on the Chorfs. I am a Chorfs man myself. He's going to look at this division thinking, a couple of elf teams, Skaven. Bernie can get some magic going on those Chorf blockers, get a bit of bull centaur touchdowns. You could have a very scary team come the end of the season. But saying that, you know, the Wood Elf teams, Hargrim's Wood Elves, they could do some magic. It's going to be a very close division.
Never take your eye off the Wood Elves, right?
Yes.
Rule 1.
Rule 1. Never take. Rule 1. foul the war dancer whenever it's on the ground. Rule 2, foul the war dancer whenever it's on the ground. Rule 3, never take your eyes off the wood elves.
No, I agree. I'm expecting Crystal Hunter to... It's going to go one or two ways with Crystal Hunter. Every game's going to come in at like 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, or every game's going to come in with 3, 4, 5 dead players.
Yeah. And to the coaches that I've perhaps not mentioned there, it's simply, I might not be aware of yourselves, I've not seen you in the league before that, but you know what? Go win games and make me eat my words. I'd love nothing more than to see 2 high elf teams there at the top of the division. And
well, there is 2 play-in tickets. Now, if you don't know what play-ins are, stay tuned. There's a massive video coming on the Monday night, which should maybe have happened by the time you watch this. Maybe it's slightly in the future, but before the season even starts, you'll know that you're getting 2 play-in tickets. You'll know which divisions those play-in tickets are likely to be drawn against, so you'll know who to watch across the waters potentially for the play-ins at the end of the season to get your playoff ticket spot. And don't take us not being a big fan as necessarily saying we don't think you're going to make it or putting you down. Take it as a challenge. Prove that prove that you've got the potential. Prove that, we'll come back in a week. We're only going to be a week, right? So you're going to play your first match. We're not going to look at those matchups specifically, but we're going to let that play out, get a feel for the division. We'll maybe see if any development. I'll keep an eye on the match report bots to talk about, any high-profile deaths, any high-profile matches that happen. And then next recap will be really interesting because we'll actually have some statistics to talk about. We'll look forward to Week 2's matchups. We'll review Week 1. And we'll just get a feel for kind of, the opening shots of the division and matches to watch, I think.
Yeah. See who's going to lay down a marker. I would say to Division 10F, as Metal did say, Tommy Wiseau is his favourite, so you know what to do to the favourite son. Target, kill, make Metal cry. Tommy, I am totally joking. I hope they all go for you and you kill them all. But
you know what?
Definitely.
Right? To cover it off, welcome to Rebel Boys. It's going to be a hell of a season.
Exactly.
And we'll see you next time. Come back in a week or so. I don't know exactly what day we'll be recording, but it'll be out before round 2 starts. I promise. All right. And you all stay classy, folks.
See ya.